our performance here. Another thing is if time plus 864,000, time is the current time in the client's browser, sent by the client's browser, and 86,4000. Let's check out what duration this is. Now 864,000 divided by 3600 will give us the number of hours. That divided by 24 will give us the number of days. This shows us that the cookie will expire in 10 days. Now, one small problem here is that when a cookie is expiring, at the time of expiry of a cookie can still be used for the purpose of hacking. The problem is when a cookie is expiring, the server, the web server, and the client must do so at the exact same time. But we see there is a lot of latency and other issues which will create a slight difference, maybe a second or two or lesser. The thing is, during that time, before the sessions are closed or the session IDs are invalidated on both the server and the client, the hacker can use that short duration of time to actually inject or use the cookie information. So what we could possibly do is add something here. We could add a random time here like this. Of course, this would mean every single cookie will have a random expiry time of 10 days and above. Now this rand is very abstract. We could use a rand function with a minimum and maximum. In our case, we will have a maximum of, let's say, 3600 to make sure that the actual cookie expiry time is between 10 days and 10 days 1 hour. This way the expiry time is not really large or really low, but at the same time is quite different for each cookie, and a hacker cannot use this to his or her advantage. Now, another thing which can help us is if these cookies were dependent on something which cannot be duplicated. Now, let's look at a plugin called, okay, let's go to the site. Now let's get into the dashboard of security research. Here we'll look at a plugin called a Mac dependent plugin. Now one thing, no matter what a hacker does, the MAC IDs of each system is totally unique. It is unique to every single network card or network adapters that have been built till date. So even if a hacker gets the cookie information, he should not be able to use it. Now this plugin, Mac dependent cookies, what it does is it adds the MAC address to salt. Salt is one encryption that is used in order to encrypt the data in WordPress cookies. Now once these MAC IDs are added, the information cannot be fudged because the MAC ID of a system cannot be used in another system. Hence, while validating the cookie, if it is sent by a different browser on running on a different machine, the MAC ID is different and hence can never go through this. Now how do we do this? Let's look at how to do that now. Okay, so here we go. Mac dependent cookies. Here it is. Now what we do here is first we check if this is the PHP for the plugin. Here, first we check whether the IP that we have received is forwarded or not. If it is forwarded, we use the forwarded IP address to figure out the MAC address, or in other cases the remote address. Now what happens is an ARP packet is sent to the web server. Now this ARP packet consists of the IP address and also the MAC address, which cannot be directly accessed from a variable, but we do know that an ARP packet consists the MAC address after the IP address. So what we do once we get the ARP table, we split it, and then after splitting it, we keep searching for the IP. Once we get the IP, that is, we match it like this using pregmatch, and once the IP is found, we again start splitting it through this, because this is what a MAC ID will have. These are the characters in the MAC ID. Now once the MAC ID is found, we will add this to the MAC ID. We will return spline dot salt. $salt is the variable that has all the information that has to be encrypted by salt. Now we will add $spline, which is actually our MAC ID, which we obtained by splitting and matching characters in the ARP packet obtained by the web server. Now once this MAC ID is added to the salt encryption, it surely cannot be decoded by anyone else other than the person having the same MAC ID. I guess this should make our site secure enough. And MAC dependent cookies has been activated already. In settings, we can actually go check if we want to use the forwarded IP address in place of remote IP address, which I don't want to use right now, so I'll just leave it as it is. And so we're secure against cookie based attacks. Thank you.